20-1. Take up. Left finger. Present hard. Get pledged.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, hard. Honor.
To ask firefighters to exemplify the ultimate ethical and moral behaviors.
Courage.
Is the mental, moral, and physical strength of training firefighters.
Devotion to duty.
Selfless devotion to an active course of action required at one's position.
At ease.
Good morning. How's everybody today? Try to make this as painless as possible, but congratulations, 20-1 in, you could say, a crazy semester, right? Huh? We wouldn't be standing here today if we didn't thank a few people, and so I'd like to do that publicly. And these people supported us even through this crazy semester, which is unbelievable. Could have shut us down. And that is our President, Willie Duncan, Board of Trustees, our Vice President of Instruction, Rebecca Bokikio, our Deans for Business and Technology and Fire Tech, Amy Schultz and Jill Alcorn, our Administrative Assistant, Cheryl Harris, all of our support and instructional staff. I want to take a minute there. You all came, didn't have to quit. The instructional staff continued to come for you and didn't have to be here. There's a lot of moving pieces to make this academy graduation happen for your success, which I'm pretty proud of everybody that took part. Special thanks to the 20-1 command staff, Chief Romer, our director, John Palmer, our planning section chief, our logistics officer, Captain Mora, and our instructional assistant, Valerie Walker. Just as an appreciation for all that they do, and some of them go above and beyond, I got a little something from Val, and she can pick this up later. A little something for Dean. These people, they drop everything and do things to support you all. Yeah, we get paid, but there's more than just the paycheck, as you'll know in this job, than there is just showing up to work. It's giving your heart, your soul. Got something for John here and something for Chief Romer. Just thank you guys. Thank you to your family, your friends, your relatives, and anybody that's with you that supported you during this when we didn't know that we were going to make it to this day. It's pretty crazy. So, a little advice. And this is something that I wish, and some of these things people have told me over the course of the years, but some of them I didn't take to heart until later in my career. But what would I want somebody to tell me, the younger me, that I could do, act, model, grow, prosper 10, 20, 30 years from now? What things would it be? And some of these things are directly related to an oral interview, things that you can use to sell yourself because it's truly who you are. And some are just advice. Just take it from any of these firefighters that have been teaching you, any of the instructional staff. We all have things we might, no regrets, but things if we would have done a little bit differently, things might have changed 10, 20, 30 years from now. All right, gonna have those hiccups today. Okay, number one, perseverance. Make getting a full-time job a full-time job. Just like you did in this academy, you all had a goal to complete. You did it. Even with the obstacles and having to move to NCC and the changes that occurred and the break for several weeks before you were able to get to this point. You kept going, you adapted, you saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and your goal was achieved. Think the same way when you're looking for that full-time job. If you don't have one lined up yet, internship, apprenticeship, or whatever. Get a degree. If you already have one, get another. A degree will give you knowledge, personal experience, and growth. It can aid you in promotion, and it could potentially give you more income in your career in the fire service. Number 3, train like you're going to teach the subject. You're going to stand up here and teach all what is going to be taught for that particular day. Train like you're going to teach the subject. Know your job really well, and one rank above you. Stephen Covey said, and you heard me say this at the orientation, begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. You might have also heard this quote, and I love it. It's one of my favorite, by Abe Lincoln. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. Train like you're going to teach the subject. Have a backup plan. What will you do if you can't be a firefighter? Invest in a second retirement plan. These are crazy times. Invest in a second retirement plan. Don't forget where you came from. Some of you might have been in my Fire Tech 1 class years ago. Some of you may have heard this from other instructors, but never forget where you came from. In my Fire Tech 1 class, I always ask you all, would you work the next 10 Christmases if I could give you a job tomorrow? And everybody always raises their hand. Be that person 5 and 10 and 20 years from now. Be the person who was in the class saying they'd do anything, anytime, anywhere for that job without complaint, even if it's working the next 10 Christmases. Be that person. Base your decisions on we, not me. That is a chief's interview question. If you go to a final interview, how do you base your decisions? Some of us will say family, which is certainly very important, but it's about we, not me. Be aware of your hidden biases. We all have them, and sometimes we don't even know we have them. What is a bias, you might ask? Some of you already know, some of you, just a reminder. It's the attitudes that affect understanding, actions, and decisions in an unconscious manner. If someone doesn't act like you, look like you, or have the same beliefs as you, it doesn't make them a bad person or a lower class citizen. It doesn't make you superior. Understand and embrace those differences. Grow. Seek to understand, then be understood, as Stephen Covey said. Don't be afraid to report bad behavior from your coworkers, your superiors, your managers, your politicians. Yes, a little bit of this came from in light of what we've been going through for the last month. But it's important. You don't want to work for an agency that's not going to do the right thing at the right time, the right way. Hold people accountable, but do it the right way. I know you want to get past probation when you get that first job, but ultimately you want to work for a good agency that's going to support you as you're going to support them. Remember, please and thank you. Two phrases or a couple of words that we tend to lose in our society. Please and thank you go a long way. Be smart, be safe, be nice, and build relationships. Just do that, and you'll be successful in your careers. Congratulations on successfully completing the Fire Academy. I wish you all the success and happiness. And thank you for choosing Sierra College's fire program for your training, an award-winning program that you can put on your resume. Congratulations, y'all.
All right, so I'm here for the instructors. But I want to start out first with a thank you. Right. Chief Palmer here is retiring. Today is his last day as our coordinator. And I want to just kind of hit just a few of the highlights that he's done in his tenure here at Sierra College. Right? One, he became a member of the facilities master's plan for this college and has pushed extremely hard to ensure that we will have a place on campus that will not be affected by outside influences any longer. And he's made sure that we'll have a public safety training center in the near future, and we thank him for that. He brought forward and took this program to new heights and achieved an award of excellence from the Chancellor's office on our program. And again, we need to thank him for that because that's elevated this program tremendously. He has worked hours and hours getting this program money. When you look around at the engines that we've been able to purchase, you look around at all the equipment that we've been able to purchase, it's because of his dedication to this program that has moved us forward. And with that, I want to say a big thank you, and you will be missed. But I know in 6 months you're going to be back because you're not going to be able to stand it. You're going to come back. Dean, come up for a second. Thank you, brother. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Chief, I have a little token of my appreciation for you helping me get what we need for the call and our students.
Thank you very much, Dean.
What is that, Dean?
It's a 39-year-old first day issue for fire.
That's very cool.
You've been in business that long, haven't you, Chief?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Thank you. That's very, very kind. Thank you.
Please, round of applause. Thank you. Now, it's about you. How many people remember day one? Remember that first day? And I put on a video, didn't I? And the commissioner of the Chicago Fire Department told us something that was incredibly important, wasn't it? He said what? That every day, throughout our career, we should be doing what? Educating and training ourselves. Because that one day that we decide not to do that, we should do what? We should retire. You dedicated that day. You dedicated the last 6 months to getting that training done. You're going to continue to dedicate to your education. Chief Palmer said, all of you said, I'll get that degree. I expect to see those degrees from every one of you. And to continue your education process throughout the rest of your career. Because if you don't, you better be doing what? You better be retiring. And even in retirement, there are things to learn, aren't there? And we're going to keep that going forward. Don't forget what you've dedicated to. Don't forget the dedication that you've put forward for the last 6 months. Even with that interruption that we had. Keep that dedication moving forward. Think about this. Dedication to the job. In our ethics class, in our leadership training class, we talked about 3 critical values, didn't we? The value of duty, respect, and utmost integrity. But think about that level of duty out there. Why is it part of our core value? Why is it? That dedication to duty. You're going to dedicate yourself to that. And think about how that's going to impact your life. Because 1/3 of your life now is going to be spent where? In a firehouse. What are you going to miss in that 1/3? You're going to miss birthdays. You're going to miss holidays. You're going to miss anniversaries. And the list goes on and on. But you're dedicated to what? The service to who? The public. And you'll continue that service on. You'll continue that level of tradition, of service to our community. And you'll do it, as Chief Palmer said, without bias. You might run on that homeless person for the 3rd time that evening, and you'll treat them just like they're the richest person in the world because you've given that dedication to that service out there, to that public. That is part of what your job is. Are you ready to dedicate to that level out there? That was a question. Yes, sir. That's better. All right? With that, a couple congratulations. McKenna, raise your hand. Keep it up. Sherwood. Moore. Fiawi. Howard. Williams. Josie. Cortez. All of you went through with great dedication in the last week, and you all accomplished something very, very important. What was that? Huh? Skills. How many did you fail?
0, sir.
How's that feel? Is that a dedication level that you needed to do out there? Absolutely. Great job. Fantastic. Keep that level of dedication going out there. Jan's down. To the family out there. Right? And I say family because now, who are you?
20-1.
What?
20-1.
You are now all considered what? Family. What do you think about that? You're all now family. Can you rely on each other?
Yes.
Can you rely on each other?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely you can. And you will. You will see each other throughout testings. You'll support each other through that process. You have that ability now to call each other if something's not right and where you need help. And each and every one of you will do what? Help the other. Because you are now family. And as you make that move into, all right, the fire service, you'll become a bigger part of the family, the fire service family itself. And some of you are already making that move. Who's got that job offer? Raise a hand. Mr. Bassett. Donaldson. Who's going to the Forest Service? You had a job offer, right? Raise your hand. Okay. Absolutely. And the rest of you, it will come if you are dedicated. And are we dedicated?
Yes, sir.
Who are you then?
20-1.
That's better. Thank you. OB.
Thank you, Chief. I didn't know at what point I was going to be delivering the speech or in what succession of the speeches, so some of it might sound a little bit redone. Also a little bit, didn't have that much time to practice, so bear with me on the eye contact. Welcome, thank you guests, cadets, instructors, anyone viewing this live or in the future from now. We thank you for being present with us as we gather to acknowledge the graduation of Sierra College's Regional Fire Academy Class 20-1. It is an honor to be speaking here today with you. Gathered here before you today are the graduates of Class 20-1. When we all first met at the beginning of the Academy in January, it was interesting to see some of the backgrounds and the personalities that some of us shared. Pretty interesting. What had started as stress or anxiety from not knowing the right way to stand at attention from day one quickly evolved into the stress of, well, what if I don't know how to properly operate this charged hose line in a confined environment? What if I get lost in a structure fire? The small nuances of the first weeks were quickly forgotten as the major factors of life safety came later that month. We learned to help each other. From fixing uniforms to double checking each other's gear every day, operating as a team was the only way to succeed in this academy. Many of us were individuals before entering this academy, and many of us had egos. We quickly learned that there is no place in this career field for that. On the contrary, some of us learned the more difficult way by a small thing known as corrective exercise. How can we forget Firefighter Weber's rendition of a push-up? Whereas if you don't know what that is, it's a very fun form of a push-up where each one at least takes 30 seconds, usually a minute, and that's one. Or Chief Palmer's tower runs, on air, in full gear, continuously. It's the small mistakes that we make, you learn from it. I'm gonna miss all those. From shining our boots, or for some of us learning how to use a mop for the first time in their life, to conducting and performing a full-scale simulated emergency event that included a complete extinguishment of live fire, as well as implementing incident command at a battalion chief's level, we have come a long way. Many of these cadets before you are early in their lives and still have much experience to be had. While some of us have been on the planet a little bit longer or been around the block, talk about myself, I'm 28. I know people are smirking at that. I might not be that old, but I feel pretty old, at least my body. How our age or experiences may vary, 20-1 now shares the same core values and training that have been instilled by our instructors. With the guidance of this academy and its instructors, the class of 20-1 has become a more than apt, well-disciplined team that is ready to begin their path into the greatest career in the world. Although this day may be about the graduation of us as cadets, it is a big day for us to give thanks back to our instructors, faculty members, and for their unprecedented hours, days, weeks, and months of continuous leadership and mentorship. We have some of the greatest instructors you could have ever asked for. They're not only widely known among our communities and the bordering states, but are also active on the boards that dictate modern fire science and understanding today. The staff have made it a point to reach out to them in any instance when we had questions or issues even involving our personal lives. Whether the staff realized it or not, that is not just the role of an instructor, that is of a mentor. Now, what is a mentor? Professor David Clutterbuck is a leading HR consultant and keynote speaker for leadership, coaching, and mentoring within the workplace. Clutterbuck defines a mentor as a more experienced individual willing to share knowledge with someone less experienced in a relationship of mutual trust. I believe that our staff exemplifies that standard of not only an instructor but of mentors as well. We trust in the education and training while they trust in us to have full attention and focus to learn. When you find yourself as an instructor of at least 25 plus years and retired in a Connex box with high heat and dense smoke, and a cadet that has almost no nozzle time or experience in their life, I would say there's a little bit of mutual trust there. Our class designation, 20-1, states that we're the first class of the year 2020. And as we know, everyone this year has faced some form of adversity at one point or another. I am proud to be a part of this class to have ever extended into a 6-month rotation in the history of Sierra College's fire program. Amidst the quarantine, we pushed a long way before we came arriving into a halt in mid-March. We were advised and instructed to shut down the academy at the Roseville location until further notice. I can confidently tell you that I'm sure you would agree that was no easy pill to swallow. In that time of limbo, we contemplated what we could do. We have not completed the academy, and we struggled with the idea of having to start over after all we had been through and after all the tests we had passed. In spite of this, Chief Romer and Chief Palmer and the staff fought tirelessly to help continue to put this back on schedule to finish the last parts of the academy. After multiple meetings over the course of a month of stress for me, especially, and everyone else, they got it approved to extend the academy into the month of June, so we are here today. Our academy was split into 2 shifts where we performed all our skills in small groups while practicing social distancing and our body temperature checks twice a day. As a cadet, I can tell you these small setbacks were not an issue at all. I'm more than glad to do it, and I would have done even more. We are fully aware the amount of stress and endless hours that you as instructors put into helping us succeed. 20-1, I'm proud of all of you for continuing to push on and not giving up, continuing in your training and studies, so we can all be here today receiving our certifications. Cadets, the training and experience you have received over the last 6 months will stay with you for the rest of your careers. Take the knowledge of this curriculum and the life experience that your instructors gave you and take it to heart. I'd like to share a brief story about my experience in the United States Army in regard to maintaining one's bearing and the importance of it. When you join the military, you are taught everything from brushing your teeth, learn how to walk straight, speak in a professional manner, standard stuff you should do as an adult, all the way to working as a member of a team, identifying hazards, mastering multiple weapon platforms, saving lives, and also learning how to take them. Upon graduation of the training, you will go to your first duty station when you're a brand new set of boots. You are a number, essentially. I witnessed firsthand the success and the downfall of new soldiers as we progress mutually through the ranks, just as you are about to do in the fire service. Thankfully, with good leadership and my discipline, I was able to maintain my standards and that were ingrained in me from my basic training. This training made me one of the best in my unit and the first choice for missions upon my deployment, where I successfully carried out my objective and fell back on training when I needed it most. The point of this story is to drive the importance of maintaining your discipline and standards that you now have today into the rest of your careers every day. We are human, which means we could find each other slacking off or not living up to the standard of what it means to be firefighters. Never drop your standards and continue to train every day. Motivate those around you and always be learning something new. I have no doubt that any of you will fall short of that. Wear your uniform proud and respect it, knowing that you represent every fighter that has come before you and has died wearing it. In closing, I would like to thank all of the cadets at 20-1. It has been an honor to train alongside of you. It also will be an honor to serve with you as well in the future. I look forward to it. Instructors, we give eternal thanks for what you have taught us and the exceptional leadership you have provided for us. Class 20-1, fueled by fire, driven by courage, Corona class, thank you.
Boss, would you like to hand these out? Okay, so several awards. And our first one is for academics. The top academic student in this class, Mr. Deal. Step forward. Mr. Deal completed this program with 97%. Second highest score that we've had in the academy ever. Congratulations. Great job. I know Coach is not here. Coach is not here today. But he wanted to make sure that a cadet was recognized for his physical fitness. And I've heard stories of this cadet getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning prior to class, right? Doing incredible workouts. Anybody that thinks that a 50-mile ride on a bike is fun, I have no idea. But Cadet Moore is receiving the Physical Fitness Award. And there is a plaque coming forth. We just didn't have enough. All right. Because of the unusual nature of this academy, something about COVID, I don't know, all right, we ended up bifurcating the class, all right? And so with that, we asked you to look to see who you considered for leadership throughout the academy, especially after that break, all right? And the two people that garnered the largest number of votes are the ones that are receiving the leadership award. So from A shift, Charles Bassett. Charles had the second highest number of votes. Person that had the highest number of votes, Mr. Reynolds. Or as we like to refer to him as? Too tall. Too tall, there you go. All right, let's make sure we get these in order. Get it all set up here. Now, probably the most important thing, right? And that is that certificate of completion, right? That you'll now be able to take forward, right? And show that you've completed everything necessary to meet the requirements of Firefighter 1, First Responder Awareness Operations, and Wildland Firefighter 1 here in the state. So, first up, Jose Ayala. Good job. Lieutenant. Ryan Carbona. Alejandro Carbonetta. Carson Chuck. Veronica Cortez. Danny De Silva. Christopher Dale. John Donaldson. Cole Arvelli. Elisa Yowie. Jesus Gomez. Eric Gatro. Dylan Howard.
Thank you.
Hannah Joseph. Wyatt Kidd. Dalton McKenna. Austin Montesante. Dylan Moore. Megan Mueller. John Oberberg. Joseph Valencia. Gregory Reynolds. Gavin Royce. John Sherwood. Seth State. Hogan Stern. Derek Wall. Right here. Manuel Valdez. Megan Vaughn. Natalia Edgemont. Lindsay Burnett. Last but not least, Jillian Williams.
Hey, all yours.
One more time. Who are you?
20-1!
What's your motto? Huh?
Fueled by
I
fire.
can't hear it. One more time. Let me hear it.
Fueled by fire, driven by courage.
Very good. Academy Dash. 20-1. Hey, for the last time. You're dismissed. Thank you. Great job.
20-1. Head up. Grad 2 instructor.
Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Sir, thank you, sir.